The beast is here. And no, I'm not talking about James McAvoy, even though that would be very, very scary. Those movies were freakish. But what is going and what is going on? It's Dane Brugler of The Athletic, who has just dropped arguably the toughest, the craziest, the most outrageous thing that you ever see out here. It's the Beast, which has over 2,700 prospects that he goes into full deep dive of. It's incredible. Now, just out of good conscience and good faith, like I'm not going to show everything from the Beast because like that is something that, I mean, this takes not days, not months. It takes a year or more for Dane, he says. So I got to be respectful of that and The Athletic and all those things. But I'm going to go through some things here, especially like the top 10 rankings and stuff. So let's get into this thing. Let's take a look. And I love the new layout too by The Athletic this year and what Dane Brugler has done. This looks so much better than years prior. And they've continued to upgrade this thing and make it better. Here's a little description and stuff like that if you want to see it, even though I went a little fast for that. But here we go. We're going to go top 10. I'll briefly show you the top 100 big board, and maybe like if you're curious to see what he has, you know, and the amount of players, I'll show you what a full thing looks like. But you look at the top 10 of each player, and you start off with the quarterbacks. Most team with needs of the quarterback position will be trying to find a sleeper in the underwhelming class. And that's really, that's really been the theme of this quarterback class in general. And as you can tell, too, Dane only has one true first-round graded quarterback. That's Cam Ward at number 13 overall on his big board. And I love how he did that this year, too. He's got the quarterback with the colors and for each position. Like you can tell if you go down to running backs, it's a different color, and it shows each position and what actually they are on the top 100 big board, too, which is pretty dang sweet, man. So, yeah, I just can't get over this. I'm gushing over here, but I don't know if I'm going to try to do something like this. If I can, it'd be hard. But you got Shedeur Sanders at 34 on his big board, a second-round grade in this case. Second round, like that's right on the borderline cusp. Jackson Dart at number 3 he's got. So he does have Shedeur Sanders at number 2. Jackson Dart is a close third there behind him. I'm lower on Jackson Dart personally. Like I have Jackson Dart, I believe, like I saw like a 4th, 5th round grade. That's just me personally. I didn't see it. I don't know. I haven't seen it with Jackson Dart. Like I can understand some of the stuff is there, but personally, I like some other guys better. Like guys like Jalen Miller. And another one that I cannot get to is Tyler Shuck. A lot of people talk about Tyler Shuck. I really don't see it. And he has listed, has tools to work his way up a depth chart and makes plays once on the field. I thought his accuracy was very inconsistent. I thought his pocket presence was terrible. Like he consistently throws off his back foot, even in clean pockets. And he's a guy that's going to be 25 years old or something like that. So it's just a little concerning for me when I'm seeing that. So I have Shook as like a late day 3 grade personally. Anyway, I know Tyler Shook. He does have an arm talent. He's got good arm, so I got to give him that. Milroe, I like Milroe a lot, but he is a total swing. What can you get out of Jalen Milroe? But I've heard nothing but great things about him on and off the field. The talent, I think he's got the most talent in this draft class. So it's purely arm talent. Athleticism, like all those tools are there. So if you can develop a quarterback, Jalen Milroe has the ultimate upside. You got the mighty Quinn Ewers at number 6, which, again, I'm more of a day 3 guy. And Dane's got him at 86 on the big board. We'll see how it works out there with Quinn Ewers, but he's definitely a guy that his accuracy, his mechanics, and overall like his arm talent, I just don't think really is amazing. But he does make plays in critical moments, and I got to give him that. And he definitely does have the intelligence and poise to translate into the NFL. You got Kyle McCord at number 7, and I know Kyle McCord seems to be a lot of sleepers on people's boards, so we'll keep an eye on Kyle McCord there at number 7. You didn't make the top 100, but Will Howard, I'm higher on Will Howard. Like I had Will Howard at my number 3 quarterback. I think Will Howard has all the tools and the mental game to be. I saw him on the Gruden quarterback camp. That was fun. Definitely recommend watching that. Gruden's always hilarious. Have you write down I love ball? Like, okay. I thought that was fun. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. It seems a little corny, but hey, it's, it is what it is. You got Dylan Gabriel at number 9, and then Riley Leonard to finish off number 10. I was also higher on Riley Leonard. I know Riley Leonard's got his weaknesses. I'd love to see him push the ball down the field more. However, I think his accuracy is way better than it was this year. He took a massive step with his accuracy. Like it was really, really bad. Anyway, like he definitely has the mobility, one of the better athletes in the entire draft class. And Dylan Gabriel, we got to talk about him. Yeah, he's like a Tua Tagovailoa. There's a lot of similarities. He's one of the most accurate, poised quarterbacks in this class. His pocket presence is really good. Does he have the tools? Arm talent, those are things that are going to be a big question for Dylan Gabriel. But he's another one that could be a little sleeper that you watch out for that ends up being a very good quarterback. Now we get on to the running backs, though, where he says, led by the 2024 Heisman runner-up. You got Ashton Jeanty. The year's running back class is loaded with talent and depth, which this starts off with Ashton Jeanty, the boulder from Boise State, and he talks about him as LaDainian Tomlinson and balance, instincts, and versatility. It's always fun when you're compared to LT, right? One of the greatest of all time running backs. So Ashton Jeanty, let's see if he can live up to the hype. There's always going to be toughness to live up to that sort of reputation, but he certainly backs it up on the football field. You got Omarion Hampton at number 2 and is a first-round grade from Dane Brugler. Omarion Hampton, complete player, reliable on passing downs, and should start as a rookie. I pretty much agree. I mean, I think he's a very good player, and ultimately, does he go in the first round? It would not shock me at all. He probably will. And he should. And then you go on to Caleb Johnson, Iowa running back. You know, if you're looking for a zone runner, a pure in the between the tackles, he is the guy. Look no further. Caleb Johnson is your man. Like, that guy just brings it. DeMarco Murray, level 3 down skill set. I like that comp. You got Travion Henderson, shot at him again. Travion Henderson, with his versatile skill set, will be an immediate upgrade to an NFL backfield. If you're looking for that speed element, that receiving role, that blocking role, that is Henderson. Judkins, he's more of that attitude, comes in and thrives with quickness, vision, and violence. And if I had to sum up his game in one word, it would be violence. He runs with a ton of it. Number 5 there, at number 60 on his big board, you got Dylan Sampson. Tony Pollard-like weapon. Okay, I like that. I think that's a really good comp, actually, for Dylan Sampson. I could see a lot of that game. He's got that electricity to him. And I think as a complimentary running back, he really could be a very good runner for a football team. I don't see him as a true bell cow, but he's definitely going to be a guy that makes an impact. Number 74 on his big board, just under 200 pounds, he's listed up. Then you got Jordan James. I'm not as high on Jordan James maybe as others, but he is definitely a good running back. Like, his vision was incredible at Oregon. I thought he just ran so naturally there as a Ducks fan. Now, I don't know, if he was a little benefited by the offensive line that allowed him the most yards before contact in FBS, I believe, which was like 5 yards or something crazy, some sort of stat. Like, that's just to show you how good that Oregon offensive line was. But I don't want to take away from Jordan James. Like, he was really, really good. And then you got RJ Harvey at number 8, skilled at setting his feet and changing lanes with vision and quickness, right? He's got that sort of like Bucky Irvin level, change of direction, shifty, make you miss. And that's kind of a little bit of a reminder of who he is. You got Trevor Etienne. He's another vision runner, and he's got a lot of upside for sure with his game. I think he's a solid athlete. He's not an elite athlete, but he's a very good athlete. And I think he does have some upside here. The pass catcher and blocker, certainly at Georgia, they always, that's their thing, right? Teaching how to block. First and foremost, you're not going to see the field unless you know how to block. I mean, heck, quarterbacks probably have to be taught how to block there at Georgia. But I like Trevor Etienne. You got Bayshal Tootin, promise on third down and kick return experience increase his value. Absolutely. He's got that speed for days. So that's a good solid top 10 ranking. And to show you how strong his class is and where running back value is, he's only got one of his running backs that doesn't have a top 100 grade on his big board. That's pretty impressive. On to the wide receiving. Day 2 could be a real sweet spot for receiver in this class, which offers I'm laughing because I was like, I should have blew for a second. I could not pronounce, what is it, Myrid? I don't know if I've seen that word in such a long time. But like, geez, Sling, go back to school over here. I know it's been a minute, but I did graduate. Okay, I got my college degree somehow, some way. Kelly School of Business, and then you got potential plug-and-play starters. I agree with this, though. Like, wide receiver on day 2 seems like there could be a lot of, even day 3, this seems like the class that you're going to find some steals here. You got Ted McMillan at the number 1 pick. No surprise, that basketball, volleyball background shows with his catch point skills. Matthew Golden at number 2 is close behind him. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if the Dallas Cowboys took Matthew Golden over Ted McMillan. Like, if they're staring at the board and both those guys are on there, I wouldn't, wouldn't shock me if Matthew Golden, if they take him with his more route running and speed that he brings to the table. And then you got Luther Burden III, who brings his yak ability. Absolutely. Teams are going to be coveting for that at 27 on the big board. So you see quite a big drop from number 2 to number 3, but a close from number 3 to number 4, Emeka Egbuka, quarterback-friendly target who understands subtleties at the position. And I think Egbuka is just going to be a guy that's no-nonsense, good wide receiver, really, you know what I mean? Like, he can be his upside like an Amon-Ra St. Brown type of receiver. Jalen Noel sounds like a Christmas carol. Get your Christmas carols ready because this is the beast. And Noel, confident hands, versatility reminiscent of Christian Kirk as a prospect. the Jaguars. Wouldn't that be a fun target, actually, in the second round for them? And they could use a good replacement there, so it wouldn't shock me. Jaden Higgins, height, weight, speed athlete with physicality, be an NFL productive starter. And he has a lot of upside with his, man, he's got some explosiveness, man, to win on that vertical route. I'll tell you that right now. And then you got Jalen Royals, 3-level threat, and going to be a wide receiver too early in his career. I see Jalen Royals as a lot of boom or bust, and mainly because his route tree at Utah State was basically hitches and screens and, go balls occasionally. Like, that's really all he ran, literally all he ran. So he's going to be one that if he can run a full route tree, he could be a legit, good wide receiver. I mean, all these guys can be legit good wide receivers, you know what I'm saying? And you got Trey Harris at number 8. Injuries have been the big question for him for sure, but projects as a number 2 wide receiver in an NFL offense. Good size, solid athleticism, sneaky athleticism, has some yak ability for sure, turns up field quick. Now, here's a guy, Jack Besh. I love Jack Besh at number 9 here, 72 on the big board. Route running, ball skills, remind you of Puka Nacua. Ooh, man, let's go. But wouldn't shock me if the Rams said, you know what, let's go ahead and take a chance on a guy very similar to that. But anyway, I would love the Lions, too. I think the Lions would be a great fit for him as well. Besh is just a no-nonsense. He's a good blocker, too. And you got Isaiah Bond. Former track star with big-time speed and must prove he's reliable. I think that that offense just kind of, it was feast or famine at times with Texas, and some of the things that they had Isaiah Bond doing, he doesn't always play to his skill set. He's going to be a deep threat and somebody that Quinn Ewers really, I don't know if he could get him the ball consistently. So make sure you're in an offense that is going to throw the ball deep. That's a big thing. So Green Bay, if you're looking for a deep threat, now you lost Christian Watson, Isaiah Bond might be your character here. You got the tight ends here, and there are no fewer than 4 and perhaps as many as 5 or 6 tight ends that deserve legitimate first-round conversation. That's incredible. Tyler Warren at number 1. Come on. We all know Tyler Warren, quarterback, tight end, wide receiver, offensive line. He can play. He can snap the football if you need him to. He's unbelievable. And he's at number 8 on the big board. But closely to him, you got Colson Loveland at number 11, reminiscent of Zach Ertz. Okay, I like that. Hey, Zach Ertz, heck of a player. He's still a heck of a player. Mason Taylor projects as a solid NFL starter who doesn't have to leave the field. He's on the field all the time. Put him out on special teams, too. Mason Taylor, number 33, he is right there on the cusp of a first-round grade. Could the Eagles, with the whole Dallas Goedert potentially on the move sort of situation, go after Mason Taylor? Wouldn't shock me. Elijah Arroyo, a vertical weapon who needs to be further developed route running and a blocking. I think he's a tough blocker. Like, he brings it. I mean, his techniques to be improved, but he's a willing blocker. So I like that with Elijah Arroyo. The injury concern actually is one of my biggest things with Elijah Arroyo, though. That's my concern with him is can he stay healthy? He's only had 1 full year of staying healthy. So that, other than that, I think he could be a very, very good tight end. And Sam Laporta-esque. And they got Terrence Ferguson. Nothing exceptional, but the foundational traits to carve out an NFL career. That's very well stated. A solid athlete, solid route runner, not super flashy, but he can, get the ball in his hands and take a drag from, a couple yard gain to a 10-yard gain. He definitely has that ability. Fits the hybrid H or F tight end and offers 3-down potential. Harold Fanning Jr. at number 6. Fanning just maybe doesn't have the athleticism in terms of the twitch that some of these other guys have, but he definitely has the receiving ability. The guy's hands are just unbelievable, and maybe Antonio Gates is his upside there. I mean, that's incredible. That's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, that's pretty good upside. You got Gunnar Helm, despite the lackluster combine, projects as a potential mismatch weapon. Still a good tight end. I'm glad to see Orlando Gadsden II, athletic and adjustment skills and catch radius to be possessional target there for any team that drafts him. Very good hands as well. He's got that subtlety at the top of the stem to make you miss as well. Not an elite athlete, but definitely has that subtlety to make you miss and shake and bake you. And then we go on to number 9, Mitchell Evans. A little underrated since the injury, right? Coming back from that. But this year, like I said, I thought he got better as the season went along. He's well-rounded and could be a secondary receiving option for a team. So maybe if you're the Baltimore Ravens and you got Isaiah Likely and you're looking for a potential Mark Andrews replacement, that's just an example sort of thing. I think he could be a very good number 2 tight end for you that has some upside. And then you got Jake Brenningstool, a tall, lean athlete who understands how to maximize his catch radius. So if you're looking for a red zone threat, Jake Brenningstool is your guy. Then you go on to offensive tackle. Injuries, inexperience, and inconsistency plague this class as a whole. but there is standout talent to be found. Start with Will Campbell at number 1. Short arms, but wins with athleticism, strength, and competitiveness. I mean, he's been tested against the best competition in the SEC there and held his own. You got Armin Mbu, likely long-term starter with tools reminiscent of Troy Fautanu. Interesting comp there. 6'4", 332 pounds, an absolute monster. Maybe a New York Jet, so we shall see about that. Could be their right tackle of the future. You got Josh Simmons at number 3 if it weren't for the injury, right? I mean, nimble, coordinated blocker with the poise and body control to be a long-term starter at left tackle. Somebody could be getting a steal depending on his medicals. Josh Carlin Jr., a guy that I'm a huge fan of. Yeah, he's got to get stronger, but he's got the foundation to be a starter earlier. His pass blocking is incredible. He's great on the move as a run blocker. Ariante Archery, skill set to become a starting tackle, but it might be bumpy early on. And he could be a guy that moves into guard at some point, too, in his career. Donovan Jackson, unsung hero of the Buckeyes title run and offers the tackle guard versatility. It's interesting that he has him listed here as a tackle position. So I'm guessing that he sees him as a tackle. I mean, he's got 34-inch arms. He's got like an 83-inch wingspan, too. So, yeah, I mean, the dude's got the length. He's just on the smaller side. You know, he's just under 6'4", I believe was his official measurements, like 6'3", 7" or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but he is a little bit on the shorter side in that regard, but definitely has the length and the wingspan to do so. And he showed at the end of the season that he could do it. Ozzie Trapillo at number 7. All right, towering blocker with swing tackle traits who could start as a rookie. You got Charles Grant, a guy that I'm a huge fan of, nimble big man with traits of a future starter in the zone-heavy scheme. Hey, this guy just needs to get stronger. I'm telling you, he has serious upside. And then we go on to Anthony Belton. Oh, man, he just is a relentless beast of a man with his strength profile. He is going to it's like you try to bull rush him, good luck. He's got size and length for sure. And then number 10, Chase Lunt. He fit as a swing tackle for wide zone teams if he develops his power. And that's, very much a question there with Lunt, but definitely has the athletic traits. And his tape is pretty dang good, too, at UConn, so we'll keep an eye on him. You get to the guards. You'll see several of these prospects starting in week 1, although some could stick at tackle or even at center. We start off with Tyler Booker, built like a bull with strength and mentality to match. Tyler Booker at number 24, he's listed over Kelvin Banks here, even though his combine wasn't great. Go back to the film. He's an absolute tank. And then you got Kelvin Banks, despite lacking ideal length, projects as an immediate starter, especially at the guard position. I like this, and I think that really, at the end of the day, you could try him at tackle, certainly for teams. Like, I'm not ruling that out. He's played at left tackle for his entire career at Texas, and he's shown, he can handle it. But there are times where I feel like moving inside will limit some of that lunging ability that he has. You got Tate Ratledge, self-described dirtbag. That never always makes me laugh. But he's going to be a long-term starter if healthy. He's an absolute beast for Georgia, ranked at 53. I like him getting some love there. Jonas Albanea could stay at tackle, but play style projects best at guard. He's another one that I could very much see sticking at tackle depending on where he gets drafted, but ultimately he could play guard, play tackle, depending. He's got the skill set. I think whoever gets Salvanaya is going to get a very, very solid right tackle or right guard, or guard in general, whatever. And Miles Frazier, Moeller with best fit teams and that prioritizes size and mass. So if you're looking for that, then look no further. Miles Frazier, he is a guy that brings that wide, girthy frame. And then Marcus Bowe needs more strength and consistency, but he brings versatile upside with his athletic profile. He's another guy that could stick at right tackle if he gets stronger. He's got great hand technique, though. Dylan Fairchild, let's go. I love Fairchild. I did a breakdown on him. He was one of my guys, or is one of my guys, I guess you want to call that. Lacks experience, which shows, but is an ascending talent in the Wyatt Teller mold. That's a great comp. He certainly has the hands. I mean, his hands pop on contact, man. He brings the fight to you. That's what he does. And I think Fairchild is going to be a guy that if he continue to work on his balance, could be an elite guard at the next level. Wyatt Millam must improve pad level and recovery skills to excel at guard. Definitely showed up at the Senior Bowl in that regard, but I got to go back to the film, and I thought he was excellent at West Virginia, and I still think he could be a very good guard, whoever selects him. And a swing tackle, possibly. Jalen Rivers, over-aggressive, but large-bodied blocker with length and strength to play inside. Played tackle, remember. Played left tackle. Also played a little guard as well, but Jalen Rivers definitely has the size. I mean, dude is a monster. He's a freight train. And then you got Emory Jones Jr., physically gifted with NFL size, but needs to be coached up. he has him listed here at guard as well. Could be another guy that possibly sticks at tackle. Then we go on to the center. The top of the 2025 center class features an interesting mix of prospects from small schools and blue chip programs. You got Gray Zabel, projects at center or guard, and offers Pro Bowl upside. I mean, Zabel looked amazing at the Senior Bowl. Jared Wilson, size is a concern, but looks like an NFL long-term starter at center. Athletic profile is all there for sure. Just needs to get stronger. And then we go on to Seth McLaughlin. Checks boxes of starting NFL center with quickness, technique, and intangibles. I know people are going to hate on him at Alabama days, his snapping and stuff like that, but the tape he did have early for the Buckeyes was very, very good, and he definitely has the profile to be a very solid starter in the NFL. And I don't know if I see him as an elite player in the NFL, but I think he could be a very good one. Okay, Drew Kendall at number 4, athletic, technically sound. He's got the bloodlines. Potential there to start for his own blocking team at number 4. Jackson Slater, he looked solid at the Senior Bowl. He's raw in technique, but he projects as a quality guard/center backup early in his career. I imagine he could develop into a starter. Sacramento State. And then we go on to Joshua Gray, fluid but flawed, a big man who can provide center guard depth, right? He's going to be a guy that maybe doesn't have the overall strength profile, and I still think his technique needs some consistency there, especially when he was playing tackle, but moved inside a guard this past season for the Oregon State Beavers. Then we go on to Jonah Monheim, experienced across O-line, but lack of length, and will eliminate him from several big boards. My reading skills, I know you're like, oh my gosh, jeez Louise, put on the audible over here. Jonah Monheim, though, I do think Monheim could be a really good backup for whoever selects him and a potential to be a starter. Eli Cox, zone-based center, who's lacking power, but moves well in space. So another guy that needs to get a little stronger. I've not actually watched Eli Cox since the offseason. So it's been a minute since I've watched Cox. I'd have to go back to my notes. I did do a full scouting report on him, but it definitely has been a minute. And then you got Jake Majors, limited center-only prospect who can be a consistent backup. And we'll see about Majors, right? It definitely has some tools to work with. You got Willie Lampkin, one of the most polarizing players. Looked amazing at the Senior Bowl. I mean, he still got overwhelmed at times by those Bear guys. Anyway, his leverage is so much fun. His size, put him at like an F-back, H-back, something like that. Plays with leverage, but size might be a non-starter for some teams. A lot of teams are probably going to be looking at that, unfortunately, and as a non-starter. But if you can maybe, grow a couple inches and get on to the edge rushers now. There should be a heavy dose of edge rushers selected in the top 50, including possibly a number 1. Interesting little analysis there. Abdul Carter projects as a 1A pass rusher with a gift for consistency impacting the backfield. He's a beast. Injuries, of course, something everyone's going to be talking about there. Well, but he definitely makes a huge impact on the football field. Jalen Walker, pass rush upside and overall versatility make him one of the best talents in the class. Now, the film for me, I'm a little lower on Jalen Walker, but I totally understand the traits, the tools, all that is there. The guy, I've heard nothing he's going to bring an Energizer bunny into the locker room, and the talent, absolutely. It's all there with Jalen Walker. Just seems a little high for me at number 5 on his big board. That is really, it's up there, right? It is. And I know some people, it's like Jalen Walker, they have him even above Abdul Carter, and it's wild. But hey, Jalen Walker, he's a playmaker. Just want to see him better take on skills, power, versus tackles, things like that. Shamar Stewart, rare combination of talent and motor to be a game wrecker against the run or pass. It's production versus traits, right? And all those sort of things. And he doesn't quite have the production yet, but he does have that size, that athleticism of guys like Mario Edwards, Jadeveon Clowney's, the Myles Garrett's. He's got those level traits. Mike Green, a twitchy athlete with a burst and body control to win a one-on-one to set a violent edge. And he's better in the run game than people give him credit for as well, but he definitely brings it to the table. Mike Green, and you got Mikael Williams, similar in ways to JPP. Okay, projects as an NFL starter on the edge. And people are going to talk about his production as well, but I think with the injury this season, it definitely hampered him a little bit. And when you look at the film, he also did a great job at stopping the run first. And that's really what Georgia teaches. He didn't always get the runway that some of these other guys have had to boost their stats up. So you got to also look at that. Georgia's defense is different. They had him playing even up against the nose at times. So Mikael Williams, very good player. I think he's got one of the highest floors even out of these edge rushers. Ezaraku, tad light to be an edge setter, but pass rushing is his calling card. This is going to be your pass rushing guru, right? He has got the best bend/spin move in this draft class. He is so twitched up. You got James Pierce Jr., a blend of explosiveness and power creates consistent disruption as a pass rusher. There's a lot of interesting things to talk about with James Pierce, but at number 7, and he is outside his first-round grade here, so he's like a borderline first, second-round guy. Has a lot of traits. We'll see if he can put those things together and continue to work on his body and getting stronger and bigger. J2 Tuimoloau, competitive, skilled, and doesn't have a major deficiency. Tuimoloau is a guy, like, if you're just looking to get on base, I think Tuimoloau is your guy. Just a very good player. Lena Jackson, not super fluid, but power and effort to be effective. Interesting. I like that one, but a little tongue twister of mine. But Lena Jackson, I like him so much and showed up at the combine big time. He's a guy that's going to just bring it, I feel like. And then you got Jordan Birch, smooth, high floor edge rusher in a defensive tackle's frame. Birch, let's go. I get some duck love over here. I think Birch is a very good player. And he had some film that, like, demoralizing. You go back and watch the Oregon State film, and it was a masterclass. Then we go on to defensive tackles. This year's D tackle class produced a half dozen of top 50 picks, led by potential top 5 selection Mason Graham. Graham, leverage monster who destroys blocks with strength and quickness and motor. Great player. Derek Harmon, a great player as well. At number 16 on his big board, active, disruptive big man who should be scheme diverse across options. I think he play 3-4, playing a 4-3. Yeah, I agree with that. And then Kenneth Grant, a dominant run presence, but can grow into a starter with 3-down upside. I mean, his size is just tantalizing. The way he moves at his size, yeah, he's going to be a fun one. You know, Dontari Poe level. Walter Nolan flashes big-time disruptor in initial burst and fast physical hands. If he can continue to work on his consistency, man, he could be a really nice player. Got to work on those countermeasures when things do not work with that first initial step, but definitely has the tools and the upside to be an Ed Oliver in his career. Tyleik Williams, one of the draft's best run-defending linemen and will be appreciated by NFL coaches. I love Tyleik Williams. His film is unbelievably good. And then Shamar Turner. Oh, this is a guy that's so much upside. Must be more disciplined. Yeah, the flag's been a problem for him, but he prides himself upon being the aggressor. It shows on film. I'll say that right now. Darius Alexander, peak plays are reminiscent of Leonard Williams, but development is still needed at number 61 on his big board. And then you got Alfred Collins, will provide immediate depth and should increase snap count with experience. Super strong, very much a point of attack holder, and definitely stout run defender. Needs to get better as a pass rusher. TJ Sanders, speaking of a pass rusher, here's a pass rusher, and he can play on even and odd man fronts at number 70 on his big board. Just got to get stronger. Joshua Fama. Oh, here's a guy that is a strong, like a one-gap shooter. If you're a 4-3 defense and you need a one-tech, here's your man. This is the guy I think that can be that. Force creator with natural power as a two-gapper and promising pass rushing tools. Just needs to show more with his hands. Linebackers. The 2025 linebacker class includes some of the 2024 college football season's most productive defenders. This linebacker class actually looks pretty dang good. I'm not going to lie. Like, there's some potential here, and there's some guys on day 3 that have a lot of potential as well. Jahad Campbell, explosive, physical athlete who can impact the game in a variety of ways. Campbell is so much fun with his film. Now, he did have a torn pectoral, I believe he had to have surgery on, so that's going to be something to monitor. He could drop a little bit on teams' boards, but he is a top 15 player in this class. At number 14 on his board, I have him as top 50. The dude is an absolute beast. Carson Swessinger, mental and physical makeup to be an early 4-down starter. Swessinger, what an unbelievable story. 1-year starter at UCLA. He worked his way into a starting role, and he didn't look back. He was so instinctual this year, making plays. Got good size as well. Denny Studs, man. He is a gap, sound run defender and thundering tackler, but lacks coverage chops, and I agree with that. Pretty much that's well said. On to Jeffrey Besa. Must turn almost plays into steady production, but he does everything well. I think Besa could be a very, very good wheel linebacker at the next level. And here's another guy that I think could be a very good wheel linebacker. Smile Monded Jr. range and toughness could make him a starter if healthy. And that's going to be a question. He is a little undersized as well, and that showed up on film at times. But he definitely has the physical tools to be a great one-on-one man cover guy as well. Like, just needs to get better in zone coverage feel. But you talk about the man-to-man stickiness. Oh, he's got that for sure. And that sideline-to-sideline range. Then you got Demetrius Knight, throwback linebacker who can be a run-stuffing presence. And it sums up this game, man. That's really what he is. He's a heat-seeking missile downhill. Chris Paul, he's another wheel linebacker. Size will be an issue, but all-out play style should translate. Definitely could be a very nice coverage player. And then you got Kobe King. I'm glad Kobe King getting a little bit of love here. Downhill run defender and special teamer who fills gaps in a hurry. I thought he was very good. I did a season, a full evaluation on him. I was really high on him. I had like a round 4 grade on him, and I stick with that. I still have like a round 4 grade on him. I think Kobe King could be a very sneaky surpriser. Barrett Carter, interesting to see him a little bit this low, but will be lightning on special teams while he fights to climb the depth chart. I think his upside is through the roof. His season this year did take a bit of a step back. Thought he got beat just, at the catch point one too often, whereas, the season prior in 2023, he was better at that, but he was still staying hip for hip in one-on-one coverage, and he has a lot of upside. And then lastly, we got Kane Medrano. I've not watched this guy at all, so I'll be honest, I'm not seeing him, but he's got fast, experienced linebacker who can provide immediate help on special teams. I've watched Carson Swessinger, I kind of was focusing on Swessinger, so inadvertently, I guess I've watched him, but yeah, as of right now, we'll have to wait and see. He's got that C on the chest, so he's a captain. It's always good to see as well. Cornerbacks, Travis Hunter is a unique prospect as we've ever seen, as unique of a prospect as we've ever seen, but he'll have plenty of company at the cornerback room here in round 1 because this cornerback room, I think there's a lot of upside to with some guys that are falling down boards here, but Travis Hunter and injuries have really summed up this class too. But Travis Hunter, what is there not to say about him? You need to play him on both sides. He's got him number 1 on the big board. He's my number 1 player in the draft class. I think he is transcendent level of prospect. He is that good. And then you got Will Johnson, outstanding eyes, feet, and IQ, should be a day 1 starter, number 18 on his big board. Look, Will Johnson's been a little over-evaluated at this point in his cycle. I thought he was overrated coming into the season, but at 18 overall, I almost think he's a little underrated in this draft class now. Like, I would take him over some of these other raw prospects. I still think he is a guy that I'd be comfortable taking at number 10 in this draft, or like between 8 and 10. Like, if I'm getting him in the J.C. Horn level, like, I have no problem with that with Will Johnson. Jahdae Barron doesn't have the top tier size, but proves value across the secondary. You could play him outside, play him in the slot, play him at safety, you name it. Jahdae Barron got that versatility. Maxwell Harrison could be an early starter if his tackling improves. And I think his physicality in general, like up at press coverage, that's really not his game. He's going to be more of a zone-heavy defense. Trey Amos, he's the exact opposite in terms of like that, the physicality. I think he's got that. He can play at press coverage. He's very good at that. And I think his press bail technique is some of the best in this class. And he plays with, he loves to play press. Absolutely. So yeah, thrives in zone and loves to play press. Azaria Thomas, another guy that's so smooth in coverage, just doesn't get beat deep, man. And tall, long corner whose game is similar to that of Carlton Davis. Oh, that's a good comp right there. Javon Revel Jr. skills of an NFL starter if his medicals check out. He's a little bit of an older prospect. I believe he's 24 years old, but he definitely has the size, athleticism. All those boxes are checked. Noah Williams, okay, number 8 and number 66 on his big board. He's physical, playmaking defender whose game is reminiscent of Cam Bynum. Ooh, would he make the switch to safety? That's interesting right there. And then you got Jacob Parrish, really good football player. Parrish is underrated, I feel like, in this draft class. Number 67 on his board, just 1 behind Noah Williams. Inside-out versatility with speed and complete skills to be a starter in the slot for any team that drafts him. Just so good in man-to-man coverage. Zone coverage is really good as well. Ben Morrison does make the top 10 at number 69. I love Ben Morrison, and this is such a craziness that I see him fall this far. Yes, it's the injury, it's the hip, the shoulder, question marks. I still have a first-round grade on him. I would take him over Will Johnson if it were for the injuries. Scheme versatile, athletic cover man, and medical concerns. So that's really the big thing. Then we go on to finally safeties here. He may actually have kickers. He does have kickers and punters too, so we can go over that if you want. If nothing else, the 2025 safety class should bring confident, aggressive playmaking talent into NFL secondaries. And it starts with Nick Emanwari, who's been compared to Derwin James at times, and what he brings to the table from a size, speed, and mindset for our very roles will project best near the line. But he is a guy that absolutely, if you're a creative defensive mind, you want that ultimate chess piece on your defense, look no further. Nick Emanwari is explosive. Yeah, he's more of a linear track guy, but he can move, man. He can change directions for his size. He's an elite athlete. I mean, one of one athletes. You just don't find a type of athletes with Nick Emanwari. He is a true unicorn that can be that true difference maker on your defense. So we'll see where Emanwari goes. He is a tough one to project where he ends up being drafted because you kind of want that, but he is a guy that has so much upside. Malachi Stark's kind of been forgotten a little bit, but his tape is still very good. Best suited to play free safety with a versatile skill set with plenty of options there. Malachi Starks, don't overthink it. Very good player. Xavier Watts projects as an NFL starter in a split safety zone heavy scheme. Definitely can make plays, right? Let him read quarterback's eyes. That's what he does best. And he's also a solid tackler as well. He can come downhill and play. Standout run defender who needs time to hone his skills diagnosing plays. And here's, like I said, another great tackler, Kevin Winston Jr. Fortunately got injured early in the season, but the film from 2023 was excellent and could be a very good safety. Billy Bowman Jr., it's the undersized safety of the draft that has great tape. That conversation, once again, you go back to the, Dadrian Taylor Demersons, the Tyrann Matthews, like that's really what he brings to the table. Very, very smart, fluid, and competitive potential starter. The size will limit it at times. I've seen him miss some tackles, take some bad angles. Jonas Sanker, very good safety prospect. I think he's starting to get some love here, and he deserves that. Projects as an instant box safety with a strong special teams profile. Got the good size, too. Andrew Makuba. I love Makuba. I think he's going to be not for every scheme because he's very undersized. Noticeable lack of size, but thrives on instincts and speed. I mean, he's going to be that back-end cover guy. He's so good at that. Let him be the hook zone guy, the deep defender, free safety. That's really in his game. Lathan Ransom, not a true ball hawk, but matches up well and defends the run. Very solid all-around safety, okay? I think if you're looking for just a plug-and-play guy that can be a great number 3 safety and a solid number 2 safety possibly in like a, cover 2 system or quarters, like I think he can do stuff like that. Like I think he's very much not a free safety or anything like that, but he is a very solid safety that can play one side of the field well. Malachi Moore, underrated player in my opinion. Tough, instinctual player who makes an impact working top down. I think Malachi Moore could be a big-time steal in this draft class. I'm a huge fan of him. His versatility, I like him a lot as a true safety, though, at the next level. Jalen Reed at number 10, enforcer and a blur working downhill, but must cut down on costly mistakes in coverage. I'm assuming that's what he's talking about because that's what I thought. But he is a very good, explosive downhill wrecking machine as a strong safety, somebody looking for that. But here's his credits. I got to point out these guys. Man, the work that they do on this is incredible. I mean, it is just one of one. This is a masterclass, Dane Brugler and this staff. So I got to give credit where credit's due. And that's why I'm not going to go through this completely, but it's just showing you what this looks like. And if you wanted to, go take a look for yourself, he got his top 100. He goes through this like that. And then if you want to say, go to the offensive tackle position, so I'll show this off. You can see all his, stuff here. You can see the combine measurements, the age, everything down to a T, going through all his prospects. Look at the amount of prospects too. Like it's an endless scroll. Look at this. You go all the way down. 141 tackles he has. That's just tackles, man. Endless list. Like that is unbelievable. The amount of work that he does. So I got to give credit to these guys, man. Dane Brugler is unbelievable. You can love him or hate him. I have the beast in 2023's draft and 2024's draft. I kind of go back and look at those two to just see how good he was on these. And trust me, he's pretty dang accurate. I'll tell you that right now. So you can't be perfect. That's what it is. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys have a really good day. Let me know what you think. And I'll talk to you later.